Puerto Rican. Soy boricua carajo. And yes, I was born here, and we are Americans. I am a mother. I am a mother. I am a sister. I am an actor and an entertainer, and I like Hollywood endings. I like when the good guy, or in this case, the good girl wins. And with an understanding of our past and a faith in our future, I will be casting my ballot for Kamala Harris for President of the United States proudly.
Just like Kamala Harris, I too have been the underdog. I've been underestimated. My success belittled and discredited. Let me tell you something. Let me tell y'all something. Women have to work 10 times harder, perform 10 times better, and still people question us how we got to the top. Let me tell you something. I can't stand a bully. But just like Kamala, I always stand up to one. All the time, I'm ready for him. Yeah. And I'm going to be real with y'all. I wasn't going to vote this year. I wasn't. But Kamala Harris joining the race, she changed my mind completely.
I'm not here as a celebrity. I'm not here as a politician. I'm here as a mother. A mother who cares deeply about the world my children and all of our children live in. A world where we have the freedom to control our bodies. A world where we're not divided. Our past, our present, our future merge to meet us here. Imagine our daughters growing up seeing what's possible with no ceilings, no limitations. Imagine our grandmothers. Imagine what they feel right now. Those who have lived to see this historic day. Even those who are no longer physically with us. Imagine all of their sacrifice. The sacrifices made so we can witness the strength of a woman standing in her power, reimagining what leadership is.
Did J-Lo just say she likes Hollywood endings? The woman who has been through 5 divorces, who just divorced Ben Affleck, she likes Hollywood endings? Does that sound like a Hollywood ending to you? And don't even get me started on Cardi B. I mean, that woman is literally a former stripper. Was she like a prostitute or something like that? These are the people that Kamala and these women are parading on stage and trying to get your daughters to vote for. And Beyonce, the billionaire, who came and gave a 60-second speech at Kamala's rally and did not perform. And after the crowd realized she was not going to perform, they swiftly left, right? For as much as Kamala accused Trump of people leaving his rallies early, that is pretty early to leave a rally after the first 60 seconds, right? These people were pissed. They were lied to, apparently. Told that she would be there and she may perform. She did not. And now word is coming out that all these people were paid. They're paid millions of dollars. And Alanis Morissette, you guys remember Alanis Morissette from back in the day? She was supposed to also make an appearance and possibly perform. However, there was a problem with Alanis Morissette. The check from the Kamala campaign did not clear. It bounced. They had $1 billion and they still couldn't get this check to clear. Wow. Just wow. This is what life would have been like under a female president, guys. She wrote a check and it bounced. Big shocker. So Alanis Morissette was given a check and it bounced, and then she refused to show up until the payment cleared, which it never did. So she never came, she never appeared, and she never performed. I am so glad that these celebrity endorsements completely backfired this time. And I'm so glad that they no longer work. And Kamala's campaign proved that. People aren't buying their BS anymore. People aren't buying their jive, their snake oil. And when you see these left-wing candidates, because it's always these left-wing candidates, parade these celebrities, these multi-millionaires, sometimes billionaires like Beyonce, in front of everybody to lecture to you who to vote for, it comes off extremely patronizing, right? It comes off condescending and smug, right? Really, really smug. And I mean, I grew up in San Francisco, right? I was born and raised there. So I understand the smugness, and I've always rebelled against it. I never even liked it when I was a kid. I mean, that's probably why I got in a lot of trouble as, growing up, is because I really just resented that virtue signaling, that high horse mentality that a lot of people have out here. And so, yeah, these celebrity endorsements do not work. And this was probably her biggest flaw, Kamala, in her campaign, is she did not realize that the tide is shifting, right? I mean, Hollywood is dying. Okay? I've told you guys a number of times. I mean, outside of the last Top Gun, I had not been to a movie since 2010. I have not watched any of the new Star Wars movies. I don't watch any of these Hollywood films made after the year. Really, not many of them made after the year 2000. Every once in a while, there's one that catches my eye, but I really don't go to the theater anymore like I used to. I mean, I used to really enjoy that. I don't give my money to them because it's mostly filled with propaganda or constant pushing of sexual deviancy, degeneracy. There's really no stories out there that really are inspiring, that are moral, that don't have a bunch of like blasphemy or F-bombs, or again, just over sexualization, or pushing of LGBTQ. I mean, it's just constant. I'm just sick of it. I'm done. Thousands of movies I could watch made before the year 2000 that I'm discovering still on YouTube, and they're free. And I got a big screen. I could just put it right there and pretend I'm at the movie. Anyway, yeah. So she did not realize that the tide is turning. Hollywood is dying. The mystique of the celebrity is gone. One of my favorite bands from back in the day, Motley Crue, the lead singer and founder of Motley Crue, Nikki Sixx. You guys remember Nikki Sixx? I was just talking to one of my high school friends about Nikki Sixx. He was like, "Oh my God, I haven't heard you mention the Crue." We used to call it the Crue, or Nikki Sixx in like decades. And I'm like, yeah, because he was. I read one of his interviews. I don't know how recent it was, but it must have been pretty recent, because he said the mystique of the rock star, the mix is gone. And he said, as well as the mystique of the celebrity, the mystique of the actor, it's gone. It's gone. He didn't care. He was like, I'm rich, I don't care. He said basically what I always point out is it shifted online, where these social media stars are now the people that are heard and are being recognized. It happens to me. I mean, just recently I was at where was I was like at a Five Guys or something like that, and somebody recognized me there. So he was saying like the mystique of the celebrity is gone. We no longer worship them or idolize them, and and the people that do, it just they need to get with the times, right? And a lot of these celebrities now too have come out politically where they didn't really do that before, and then you find out who they are, and then you decide, based on your own values, that they don't share your values, and then you don't like them anymore, right? Look what happened to Arnold Schwarzenegger. Notice I haven't been talking about him lately. I used to push a lot of his movies back in the day. I'm like, watch Commando, watch this movie, it's so alpha. I can no longer support any of his work, and I'm no longer going to watch any of that guy's movies. I don't care to. I mean, he came out not only for, and he was the governor of California at one point, and even then, he didn't really do much. I knew this guy was just a rhino. He's just another establishment establishment stooge in disguise. And then he proved it again. He's here supporting Kamala, and he's like, he was speaking out against Christianity. I think that's where he lost me. I was like, okay, why are you even bringing religion into this? You know, and then during the Roni, he was talking about, oh, screw your freedoms. I'm like, dude, really? Okay, this guy is, you know, he's off my list, man, as far as anybody I admired in the past. No. I mean, the values come first. It's like, yeah, you've done great work, you've had success, but, you know, your values are, where's your moral compass? You know? So, yeah, the celebrity endorsements backfired this time. I was happy to see it. And I really believe it cost her campaign, because while Trump was going on Rogan, right, she was going on this Call Her Daddy podcast. I mean, oh my God. Again, just talking about the sexual deviancy and the inversion of truth and rejection of objective reality that the left constantly pushes these days. I always tell you guys, the devil is author of confusion. Devil is author of confusion. God is the author of truth. God is the author of objective reality, and God's word does not change. Okay? Thousands of years later, you know, it does not change since the Bible's been written, right? His word does not change. And this is why you hear the left constantly trying to change his word, right? That's why I say the devil's the author of confusion. You know, Beyonce will get up there and say things like, we need to reimagine and redefine what masculinity is. You know, you hear them say that all the time, right? Oh, they want to redefine what masculinity is. Then you see them redefine it. What do? They put men in dresses. They make men cucks. They make men submissive and allow their wives to have girlfriends. Yeah, that's their redefinition of masculinity. This is why I say God's word does not change, right? And anybody trying to redefine, you know, and reimagine is evil and is pushing evil. And I always say, is either demon possessed or is an actual demon, right? Whether you have faith or not, you can understand what I'm saying. You know, something's going on there. There's like a dark spirit about them. So I'm so happy that evil lost, right? And I mean, as an independent, I get what other people are saying, you know, when they talk about Trump's character. Oh, how can you support a guy, you know, they say Trump supporters, right? How do you support a guy who's a, you know, felon and this and that? You know, they throw out a bunch of personal attacks about him. You know, some might be, you know, it might be somewhat true to a certain degree. Not all of it, obviously, but there might be some truth to what they're saying. And instead of it, you know, like completely ignoring it, yeah, I listen. And, you know, and as far as like the charges go, I mean, anybody with any reason can see that those charges were absolutely unreasonable, right? They were just really an overreach at the end of the day, a political witch hunt, whatever you want to call it. I always ask people, like, okay, if he wasn't running for president, would they even have tried to charge him? The answer is overwhelmingly no. That if he wasn't running for president, if he just went back to Mar-a-Lago and minded his business and was never heard from again, no, they would not have charged him. None of this would have been happening. It's because he ran for president and he announced that he was running for president. They got threatened by the thought of, oh my gosh, he might be president again. I don't want this to ever happen. Let's see whatever we can do to stop him from running. I mean, to the point where they even tried to derail his bid for president, and they were trying to block it, like his ability to run for president. And it's like, no, the people want this. The people want this guy. So let the people speak, right? They believe in democracy, even though I believe that we are a constitutional republic. We're not a democracy, and that just, you know, just shows how much propaganda they're pushing when I hear them use that word constantly. But in any case, yeah, the charges were definitely, in my opinion, trumped up. You know, no pun. And would not have happened if he wasn't running for president. And also when they bring up his character and this and that, he's not pushing those values, assuming he has those values. I mean, he's been married for a long time, but say, you know, however he feels about women or he's done in the past, he, you know, he's not getting on his bullhorn and going, okay, everybody, grab him by the pee. Hey, everybody, you know, find yourself a mistress. You know, he's not doing any of that. Assuming he did those things, right? We don't know. Again, but they grab the pee. He obviously did say that, right? But I mean, I've heard women say 1,000 times worse. But again, he's not going to his rallies and encouraging his supporters to go out and behave that way. He's not. But when Kamala gets up there, she is going up on stage into her rallies and on her podium and encouraging people to do certain things that are not good for society. Okay, deleting your babies and going out and sleeping around and, you know, playing victim and blaming men, and I mean all this stuff, and you know, opening the borders wide open. These things are not good for a healthy society, right? So so yeah, there's a huge difference there. You know, I look at it like if you're, you know, working for, you know, a company, for example, and your company is kicking ass, so much so they're giving out promotions and raises every 90 days. Every 90 days you get a promotion, get a raise. Why? Because the company is doing that well, right? It's kicking ass. And the guy who's at the top, the leader, the CEO, probably isn't somebody you would want to hang out with, right? Maybe he's just balls out. Maybe he's just a little too, you know, unfriendly or always on the move, or just, you know, you don't like his character, his values. Would you really care as long as he's doing his job, right? As long as he's doing his job. Oh, well, he represents the company. Yeah, well, yeah, I get that. But, I mean, you're looking for the perfect candidate. You're looking for somebody who's just flawless, and nobody is. And even if you look back on the last, like, you know, couple hundred years that we've had presidents, none of those guys were flawless, right? Everybody had something wrong with them. I have plenty of flaws. You still listen to me, right? You still take my advice, right? Because I admit my flaws, right? We're all flawed, right? To say that nobody's flawed is being a hypocrite. So, yeah, that's kind of a BS argument that I hear the left bring up a lot. Oh, he's a felon. You elected a felon. You elected this. You elected that. He's this. You know, does that affect the way he's running the country? And I've said this before. It's kind of like when Clinton was in office. Clinton was a Democrat in the 90s. And he had that Monica Lewinsky scam. And I just remember everybody was melting down about that. You know, but I remember at the time I had a business, and at the time I was doing well financially under his watch, and I was like, okay, he's doing his job though. I mean, yeah, this is not cool, man. This, like, I don't agree with that, right? That part, like, he had this affair with Monica Lewinsky and all this other stuff, and, you know, the semen on the dress. I mean, I still remember all that, and he had to get up in front of the news. I mean, those things to me were just a dog and pony show. That's really between him and his wife, right? That's between him and Hillary to figure out, not the entire nation. It's like, yeah, this guy had a major character flaw, right? He liked the women. He loved the women, right? And he got a little too frisky with this intern, Monica Lewinsky. And, you know, he went outside of his marriage, allegedly. However, everybody melted down about that. They wanted to impeach him, and I was like, yeah, that's more of a private matter between him and his wife. And, you know, yeah, he did this in the Oval Office. Should he be reprimanded to some degree? Sure, yeah. But yeah, I felt like he was doing his job. I mean, sure, something should have happened. Something should have been done, but because you shouldn't be able to get away with that type of behavior being the president. But at the same time, he was doing his job, you know, and people just kind of equated his values to him not doing his job, but he was doing his job. At least in my opinion, in my naive 20-something-year-old self, I was making money. So I was like, oh, okay, you know, you equate it to whoever's in office. However, I'm glad the celebrity endorsement is no longer working, and I'm glad people are turning their backs on him. And of course, in true celebrity fashion, they're threatening to move to Mexico, or not Mexico, but like France or whatever. sure, yeah, go ahead, go. I mean, they say this every election, right? And it just shows what big babies they are. It's like, I didn't get my way. Oh my gosh, I didn't get my birthday party. You know, and that means start crying. It just shows what, yeah, just what babies they are. And because you don't see this happen with the right. Like when Biden got elected or Obama, none of them were getting on their social media going, hey, I'm gonna leave the country. It's like, okay, whatever. So, as always, gentlemen, drop your comments below. Let me know what you think of tonight's coaching video, and I'll see you in the next one.